let's get started. We'll bow in first. I'll bring up the flags. We'll bow in Salam Katusi. Let me highlight you, sir. Chidit, Cookie, Bere, Poro, Munyang, Poro, Sabonimke, Kinye.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good to see you all.
Spotlight Cruise Sabanim. As soon as I find him, here we go. Sir, you are spotlighted for everyone. The floor is yours. Thank you. Thank you for coming and supporting.
Thank you, Sabomnim. A real honor to take and spend some time with all of you. Just for those of you who haven't had an opportunity to, for us, haven't had an opportunity to meet, Rodrigo Cruz. I'm in Region 4, Florida, originally from Region 2, New Jersey, headquarters studio. And I've been here in Florida since 2011. And here I am. This class is 1 hour. I don't have to be at work until Monday, so I got time. We can just stick around. Believe, and correct me, please, believe last month focused on kind of creating that pressure through hope. Was that kind of tied into that a little bit?
Yes, sir. Expansion, contraction, talk about the compression. Everything that was shared from the World TAC meeting, we carry through these sessions so we can review and refine.
Perfect. So I had plans to touch on that as well, but I'll kind of segue into a little bit more of Shinchuk, which for me has been my biggest focus and training. You know, sometimes there's too much tension, sometimes not enough, and I can feel how that affects my movement, and most importantly, my stance, my jaze, and how to hold that stance. So just wanted to share my thoughts as we go through some exercises. Mostly going to focus on some slow movement from Chilsung Ilohyang and Dumonhyang a little bit. And we'll maybe have a chance to run some Hyang. If you told me we would be doing Hyang for 1 hour, for me, that's a perfect hour. But we'll kind of have some moments just to share some thoughts. So without further ado, really just to focus on the term Shinchuk, which I used to think about contraction and expansion, but I think that's a separate meaning. So for Shinchuk, I want to try and focus more on the actual translation, on the tension and relaxation. Some students equate tension with contraction, but that's not, we know how that's not all the time true. So let's not think about tension, even if we contract. Let's think about the tension is at the end of the move and how we hold that to create good posture. So for example, in Chilsung Ilohyang, as we start, we're going to open here. I'm not really feeling a lot of tension yet, but as my hip sinks into the front stance, it's starting to take more effort to do that. I equate that to tension or creating tension. Same thing with my right arm. The hand at the end kind of takes more of a shape where the hand gets pulled back. Is everyone follow me that on that one. The hand kind of follows and then arches a little bit. That for me is kind of a point of tension in that posture, and so is my jaze. Not so much on the front arm. This is a relaxed, so more of a relaxation. But there's no tension throughout the motion. There's tension at the end of the motion as this hand takes final shape. We're going to kind of work that a little bit and then try to hold it for about 30 seconds, because that's when your body starts talking to you. Is you start to feel where are you having to put some effort into holding that posture and where is no tension. So we can kind of really feel. Another thing is wanted to kind of assess your angle of your hoodie at the finish. So sometimes we stay sideways. It doesn't create the tension in your right hip to match this arm. So when we're here, just try to kind of see what you can do to move around slightly, and you'll feel tension create a little bit more. So you have a little more active awareness of your side. I'm kind of teaching myself as I talk through it, but is this kind of making sense of where we want to go with this move?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So everyone knows that move. We're just kind of use that as our vehicle for the lesson a little bit. Okay, so let's just run that a couple of times just for warm up. Let's just go ahead and open our body, close our body, but move more from the elbows, not your hands. Just have your elbows come through. Cross, open. Good. Just stagger. And at the same time, with your body, kind of complement that with your hoodie. Okay, and open up into a kima jaze, and we're just going to push pretty much like mupal dankum. One, and your hoodie going back. Stretch your back out. This will all tie in with our exercises. Okay, so from side view, make sure your hoodie complements that as you sink. Hip forward, hip back. Good, and one more. We're just going to go crossing palms down, open palms up, crossing, open palms up, and try to lift the pinky. You start to feel that tension on the inside of your arms a little bit more. Your palms down and pinkies up. One. Create a little more action there. Good. Couple more. Inhale, exhale. Okay, good. Shoulders forward and back. This is going to be an arm workout, I can tell. So we get ready. Okay, we start with Chusong Ilo Hyang, the first two motions. We're just going to focus on the first one first. So from here, looking to your, am I mirrored to you when I go to my left? Do I look like I'm going left or right?
Yes, sir, you are.
Does this help, or should I go other way?
The first way is okay, sir.
Is okay? Thank you, sir. Okay, so from here, we're just going to be stepping open. Good. Your feet should be, your back foot should be turned, front foot should be forward, arms open below your shoulders so as not to create unwanted tension. And we're just going to carry the elbows inward and then wait until you're almost done with the posture to arch your right hand into position. Try that a couple times. And you should be feeling a little pull on your right hip as you sink your
Sir, it looks like you're muted.
I wonder why that is. Sorry about that.
There you go. You're
Okay.
fine.
Okay, so just try that a couple of times on your own. Coming back. Exhaling. Go to the point of completion. Hold it. Come on back. Inhale. Exhale. Hana. Exhale. And if you really check, your hip really isn't turning a lot. It should be turning, but you shouldn't be coming square forward, right? Because your right hip is still going to be behind you as you push it this way. You try that, Hana. Dur. Hana. Inhale. Exhale. Good. One more time. Hana. Exhale. Feel your weight sinking. You create tension in your lower body. And then you have kind of a spot on your hand that creates a little tension. And then your right hip should feel the little bit of a pull. Gonna have your tension relaxation travels through your body. You just got to find it and guide it there. You get that action there. Okay, now we're gonna hold. Okay, so get into your spot. Arch your right hand slightly. Okay, now just rotate your hips slightly, just to find, you'll know when you find where your hip starts to talk to you on that right side. Starts to kind of stretch a little bit. And you hold that. And puddle. Okay. We'll do a couple more exercises, and then I'd like to hear your thoughts. If that kind of opened up a new window just for your Shinchuk understanding. Okay, as we go into the second motion of that hyung, one thing that I'd like to keep in mind is as you create this posture, a lot of times we tend to lose it and kind of restart as you go into the second motion. I like to have you consider keeping your tension down and not lifting. So you've created this push here. So you're just trying to stay low and just guide into the next motion here, as opposed to coming back, turning, and reaching in again. Does that make sense? So as you go from here, try to keep your right hip as engaged as you can. Just fix your left foot into the side stance, and you should just feel the pull. Okay, so the hyung goes forward as you push, and then comes back as you pull. Okay, we'll try that a few times, maybe 5 times together. Hey, Shisan, first move, Hana. Take your time. Okay, now keep your height. Just reach right away and pull. Good. Dash, 준비, Shisan, Hana. And feel tension on your right hand right about now. Okay, keep your right hip engaged and just pull. Wait, dash. Hold, settle, and pull. 2 more times. Ready? Hana. So that's looking good. And don't lose your hip. Just step into the pull. Very good. Some of you keep your height perfectly on there, so there's no up and down. That's kind of how I approach the interaction between those 2 moves, is to not upset a lot of what you've created on the first move and just feed into the second move. I think it's one of the hardest things to teach when you teach that hyung. A lot of people just think about the 2 moves, and then they kind of reset and then find that pull again. So that was very nice. Guess we could probably open for some thoughts if you like to share, or any questions. Complaints?
Cruzabo,
Yes.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
I am pinned. I don't know who's.
It's Mr.
I'll
Johnson.
spotlight Monsignore here.
Oh, yes, sir.
There you go.
Good morning, Bonim.
I came in late because I had something that had to be done, so sorry for being late, but here I am. I think what may help is after the shifting, try not to get the palm facing forward too much, more like slightly angled down, so you get that tension that you were speaking about. And then from here, just shift and reach and pull in. I think that will help to keep the height basically stable and down, as you were mentioning.
Yes, sir. Okay. That was a great visual, sir. Thank you. Good. So, we're just just trying to achieve as little disturbance as we can from the first move to the second move. So keep that tension in your stance. I call it effort because you do need to have some intent to create that posture. So try your best to hold it. Okay. And please try that on both sides on your own time. So we don't favor one, just your understanding on one side of your hoodie. Make sure you try that on both sides. That's always a nice challenge to do. Okay. We'd like to go into the second section of the Xiang, which is at the second half, at the beginning, and that is after the Hunjin Kongkyuk. As you come around, is your arms just naturally down? I think the higher up that we go, it invites unwanted and unneeded tension in your upper body. You're just keeping your arms naturally down in a nice sakure jaze, and as you pull from the hoodie, I think this will tie into last month's theme of the pressure here before you exhale. So you're trying to push the air and compress before you release. So it's more of a forceful release of air. And that kind of, digs through your stance. You settle your stance. This move here, we're going to allow some tension to build in your upper body. But then remember, your stance has to stay low. Just creating a little bit of an inhale and then dropping as your elbows settle. So I say invite this tension up here a little bit and then drop as you go. So we're just going to work on those two moves. So starting from a sakure jaze, okay, reaching forward. So you're almost over your front knee, but not quite. And your back hand is grabbing, holding on to. Okay, just rocking your weight back. Inhale. Okay, dropping straight down before going forward. Compress. Arch your hip up and push. Okay, now crossing the arms, palms down, and inhale, shoulders lift, and then settle as you open. Okay, return. Let your hand come over and grab. Okay, hoodie initiate, inhale. Don't go forward, just go straight down. Your back knee should be well bent. And guiding through. Good. Inhale. Invite the tension and drop into the stance. At the end of that second move, I want you to feel pressing into your jazi. So don't just keep it in your upper body. Let your shinchuk, let your chuk kind of sink into your lower body. No tension in your upper body. Just natural flow. Okay. We'll try that five times. That combination, please. Chumbi. Hey, Shisan. I'm gonna step and grab. Everyone's in a sakurip jaze. Inhale. Down. Push. Inhale. Drop the elbows into the stance. Good. And dash. Grabbing here. Inhale. Compress. And push. Good. Contract. And drop the shoulder. Good. 3 more times. Shisan. Hana. Good. 2 more times. I'll just watch. Sija. Good. Feel just tension in your lower body. Nice freedom of breath in your upper body. That looks very good. Open portals. Very nice. It's good. Everyone kept again good height throughout the interaction of both of those moves. I always kind of keep an eye for students that they don't, come off of that front knee in between moves. You kind of lose that tension that you've created here. So as you're from here, just keep that tension, keep pressing down. You keep the connection down the whole time. So a little bit rougher. I'm going to try 5 times on the other side, okay, since that mimics the hyang. We'll just kind of all do it together, unless there's any questions or anything on this area. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Okay, so we're going to your right as you go. Okay, so stepping in, sakurip jaze, left hand is grabbing. Inhale. Push down. Build the pressure. Exhale. Crossing. Keep your connection strong with the earth and open. Good dash. Push. The third time. Grabbing. Inhale. Two more times. Remember, you create the tension in your jaze, and then try and keep that connection downward. And just let your upper body be a little more free. That's great. But this is what yoga is. That when I did yoga once and it kicked my butt, like seriously. But I get the same workout from these moves, just doing these slow moves. It's that static holding of the stance, keeping your shinchuk alive. What a workout! Just to hold. So I invite you to add that to your training as well. Okay. Any questions on this sequence that we just did?
Cruz Sabadum, I don't
Yes,
have
sir.
a question, but as an instructor, I do have an observation. Maybe other instructors run into this. In the first motion at the top, you're talking where the students roll back. I'm cutting my camera here. You know, they turn their arms down. A lot of times, it seems members will want to turn, place, and then redirect. And they kind of do that at the end of it too when they drop back. They kind of want to turn and redirect as opposed to staying in the same line as you're speaking about that keeps your energy direct. So it might be something maybe instructors want to be aware of. You know, I find it, I have to correct my students. They want to turn and then redirect, but an instructor's
Yes,
option
sir.
sometimes.
Yes, sir. No, that's it's it's right there, and you're doing it until you hear, just like you said, it doesn't click. So I'm gonna steal that.
I may have a suggestion.
Yes, sir. Please.
All right. For that kind of thing, I was thinking about this. Also, I'm sitting down. So if I do that particular technique where you're gripping, pulling back, settling, and pushing, I'm pushing off my left leg. So I'm not bouncing up and down. I'm just pulling down, crossing, settling. That may help whoever's having challenges with that. So have them sit down and do it off their one side, like the left knee, and then have them do it off the right knee. I'm just thinking about this as I'm doing it. I'm saying that may help. What do you think?
That's excellent.
Okay, if it works, fine. If not, find something else. I mean,
No, it's like having students
that's
sit
the
down and
beauty
do
of the
homework.
art. We can just adjust, adapt. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, the same thing when I have students sit down and just work their blocks without having to think about their stance. So that's great. I never have mentioned keep your upper body more free to move, but I kind of like that, what I just said before, but I've never really touched on that part, but it kind of makes sense now. You know, I always just say, you know, tension on the bottom, relaxation up on top. But if you think about freedom of breath, I think you start to really manage so you're not creating tension in your upper body. And it's that continuous focus on pressing down. I think that'll manage your shinchuk well. Okay, good. So with that said, I have two more sections. So these these two that we did kind of focus on turning as you're settling down. And then we talked about just straight back, down, and straight forward. So not much of a turn on that last sequence that we did. This one here now we're going to do from Dumunhyang. This is that push, and then it's the second push. Okay, so that should also feel more of a back and forward, and not so much of a rotation of your hip, except the preparation as your arm comes over to initiate. You're going to want to feel, do it this way. From the turo, you just want to focus on this hip kind of guiding your arm up. So this hip kind of mimics that line
kind of going up and down this way. I think a lot of students have a problem with the arm going straight up and they kind of go outward. And you know, that's just the understanding of the hoodie and how that can help you if the hip also goes up and down, just like your arm. So as you move over, try to assist with the hoodie. Let the hoodie guide on that same line and coming downward. I think that'll give you a better opportunity to connect the arm so it's a nice sunsukmi straight line. So we will try 3 times, and if you cannot, if this is if you're having a hard time with it, just don't have your arm up. Maybe you can just have it down, but just try and guide with a hoodie up and down. So this whole side of your body is going to lift as you go here. And just think about lifting a heavy bucket. You know, you're not just gonna, you're gonna lift with a body. The arm is just kind of getting pulled. So it's this action of the hip coming up. That's what's gonna create that nice line. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Oh, okay, because I took my little.
Yes, you're
AirPod.
fine. Audio's good.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, so maybe turning to your left. Into the hockey. Okay, opening up, let the hoodie, the left hip come up. As you grab, connect, inhale. Pressure, down. Pulling straight back. Connect, down, and push. And you can kind of see on this second motion, and we kind of talked about that. So you have a little bit of a tension point as you arch your hand. So that's a point of focus for your technique you're going to have. This is man-made. This is not. So make sure you have that nice focus on the heel of your palm as you push. So just let that guide. So you have some tension down here, point of tension on your heel of your palm. 4 more times on this side. And you set yourself up and seizure. Roll, connect, inhale, settle straight down, pressure. Keep the pressure, stay low. Connect. Okay, 3 more times. Seizure. Good. Two more times. I'll just watch. You got one more time. Everyone looks very nice. Okay. Well, great. I hope that kind of talked back to you a little bit. You kind of have some feeling on that. We're going to try the other side. Never neglect. Okay. Trying to see. This one. Okay. I think everyone is pretty much standardized. Make sure that you allow your arm to connect, and then invite the pull. So there's this action, and then there's this action as you come back. Sometimes I practice a continuous just to challenge myself a little bit to see if I can manage that jaze. But for standardization, I would invite maybe to connect and then treat that as a separate, as an inhale. Because I don't even think we inhale here. It's more of an internal manage, and then you inhale, exhale. Okay, so let's try 5 times on that side. If you're doing it already, great. Seizure. Great. Just watching. Very good. Very nice. Cool. Well, good, good. Just want to share something that I think about in these moves because when you're initiating, people sometimes tend to take the weight off of this knee and you're already coming back. So try to feel like you're almost putting more tension into your knee as this arm comes through. You're almost sinking more into your knee before you pull back. And invite you just to try that maybe once, just to release the hip and then press into the knee as you connect, and then you pull it back. See how that feels. Body up and down, invite, good, press, and pull. Very nice. Good. So that's definitely something I've adopted later in my Do Moon training. But it's something that I like to kind of have that moment of press. Another action to keep in mind is once you're here, your hoodie is just coming back. So when we say drop before pushing, you really shouldn't be feeling like your hip is coming down as much as you're connecting with your front foot, which is on its heel. So you can when you connect down with your foot, this hoodie should actually point up. So you're contracting, and as you do so, as you connect down, this hoodie should actually arch up and then push forward. So there really shouldn't be a feeling of sinking with the hip as much as it is to just turn the hip up. So you're contracting from the bottom and the top. You're feeling this versus just the top. So you're kind of doing this. As you pull back, as you settle, as your foot settles, it's more just the hoodie actually coming up, like the knot of your belt is coming up, and then you push. It's hard to talk through that because the exhale is so pressured. Kind of have a hard time talking through that. Okay, it's like a pH in hoodie. Okay, good. We have maybe 20 more minutes, I'd like to maybe just touch on the pole action of the hyung. I think that's one that is a nice, kind of ties in with Chosun Ilo hyung as far as the elbow and hoodie initiating and then creating that nice harmony. I don't really feel a lot of tension in this, and I'm really interested in hearing what you think when you do that move. But I don't really feel, aside from, like I said, the hoodie coming upward as you contract, this is really all my tension is on the bottom. There's not really a lot of little points of focus on my upper body. It's more of just a freedom of energy. That's how I feel for that form, and that helps me stay in posture a little more. But I'd be interested before we dive into it, what everyone, if anyone would like to share their thoughts on that. Wilcox Subonim?
Yes, sir. My thoughts on that is the arms don't move at all. Your arms are in this position and it's all the contraction of the chest muscle pulling in or the back muscles pulling out. So when you step out, it's relaxed. And as you pivot, it's just contraction of the abdominal muscles and expansion from the back.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I try as much as I can to not let my arms lead that movement. So that's also how I feel about that. I'm always moving arms first, and I have to prioritize hoodie and the contraction.
Price Salonim, you have a question?
Yes, yes, sir. Sir, do you find it helpful if you think it basically two unbendable arms? Does that mindset, if you just really have just two unbendable arms as far as taking the arm action, minimizing the arm action?
Yes, I do feel about I do try to connect and feel a fullness in my arms. So even though I'm not flexing, I do want to feel some sort of a shape that is full, not so empty. And your elbows will tend to droop if you're empty. So there's more of a fullness as you do, but very relaxed. It's for me, it's an amazing concept how you can be relaxed, but someone walks into that and they're gonna feel it. So I definitely try, and thank you for mentioning that, sir. I think that's something that I definitely strive to keep a connection on. And for me, it's all from here. As far as the feeling of the heaviness, my arm doesn't really change. But if I'm focusing a heaviness, I think it connects with the rest of my posture, and it kind of becomes part of it a little bit more. I think that's for me. The fullness is more of a shingung initiation on that. So I have two cameras. I feel like I'm a news anchor trying to look everywhere. Okay, so camera two. So let's go ahead and give that a go. The poll. Just we can do it straight ahead. It doesn't have to be a 45. I mean, you can just practice yourself here. But think about the interaction of the movement of your hip as your hip coming up and down to contract, and then your upper body kind of folding as a result. So let's try that a couple of times.
rocking motion too, that's helpful. And he rocks. Like, he's actually, it's forward. Yeah. That's
Good. Just keep in mind, less arms, less arms. Let the body move. And that allows for the elbows to connect with the hip a little more. Easier said than done. Okay. I didn't want to disregard the stepping into that move because I really enjoy that. Coming from one into the next. I think it's one of my favorite forms to do as a demonstration because of that interaction between going from one to the next. So on that, establish your 45 line. And then as you move in that line into the next one, just think about your body is coming together. That should invite your arms to also come together. And as you open, then you have the invite for the inhale. So, you know, everyone's seeing the students, they kind of open and they're already open when they step. But try to more invite contraction, expansion as you're coming in. You know, if there's a chair right here, I kind of have to walk around it as I go. So just kind of have that image as you come in, contract before you even open. Walk on the line that you've established. And as your feet come closer, so should your elbows. Inhale, and then fullness, heaviness. You can walk on the line, contract naturally. Body coming upward as you settle into your Kimajazit. This is a nice chair. You can bring this everywhere you go. Okay, why don't we just run that? We have about 12 minutes. Maybe do one trip, however many you can fit in your dojang there, and see how you can manage. Takes balance, takes managing your posture. Don't lose the connection with the earth. So walk in the same height. Try not to rise and fall. Just let the knees bend more as you step. Oh, nice. That looks good. You come around. Good. No tension. Just your legs are the engine. That's good. Very good. And just kind of stop frame by frame once in a while and look at what you got. You should kind of feel every step happening there. So you don't disregard your upper body and only focus on your lower body. Try to really think about each part makes the motion as you open. Good. All right. All right, good. Obviously, we always want to share so much when we teach a student, let's say Young, but I think there's a good time to introduce all these aspects. But there's also, for me, I still follow the Weigong, then Negong, then Shimgong approach. Even when teaching a Dan member, a new Hyung, first it's the exterior and the mechanics. Then they can be comfortable with the outside. They can then connect with the inside. So even though for Dan members, I'm always guilty of trying to give them everything that I know about that form, and it's too early. I think, Weigong aspect, the contraction and expansion, maybe not focus so much on the whole hoop and the pressure. Give them some time to, feel that form on the outside, and then, challenge them a little more with the whole hoop, which for me is the driving force of Shinchuk. So that's my, that was not my favorite key concept, but I was younger, so it was more in there and control of power. But the Shinchuks really helped me. Can I say as I get older? I feel old. Okay. Read the room. Shinchuk, it's starting to talk more to me. And I'll share one more thing. I had an opportunity to train, just take one weekend class in a different art. It was more of like a triathlon kind of an approach, and they welcomed me with open arms, which is great. But I took something away, which is the instructor there. He almost religiously gets up at 4 a.m. and has a little dojang built in his backyard, and he goes in there, and it's quiet, and there's no one there, and he told me that is when your technique talks back to you. When there's absence of thought, you're just focusing on whatever you're doing, even if it's a low block. But that time by yourself, just doing and feeling the motion, that's when you get feedback from your own body on how you do things. I don't get up at 4 a.m, but when I do find myself by myself, working some technique, I rarely do an entire form. I just do a little bit of 1 or 2 moves and just see what I can do with those 2 moves over 10 minutes and see, because it starts to talk back a little bit more. So yeah, that's it. I'd like to invite any feedback or thoughts.
Yes, Joachim Kralleri. Yes, go ahead. You need to unmute though, sir.
Sorry, sir. Going back to the beginning of Chosan Ilmo, okay, at this point, well, we're going from Kimo Jase to front stance. And then at this point, there's a slight movement of the lead foot, of the left foot, slight setting. You said that there was a slight setting of the foot.
Yes, sir.
That, when I start to do that slight setting, I feel what I would call unwanted tension before I can do this.
In your upper body, sir?
No, sir. In my balance.
Oh, okay. You do feel like you're wringing a towel, right?
I feel like I have to put my weight on my right foot to adjust my left foot, and it kind of upsets my balance.
Right. So if I may, I'll share some feedback on that. Keeping your front stance not wide should even allow you to rotate your front heel and not so much pick up that foot and step to maybe just
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
maybe to just rotate and pull back. You may not find yourself in a completely straight kima jazik, but sometimes I don't see the kwanjang nim either. I don't think that is as crucial a thing as maintaining the connection with your hoodie. I'm just built in because I've done this. I do take that slight step, but I can also just rotate the heel and pull back. And that's a different experience.
Yes, sir.
But I enjoy both of those. Just make sure to keep your upper body more of a downward feeling, not so much of an upward feeling with your hand. Kind of picture water could be dripping down your arm, not coming back. That will kind of help keep the tension off your shoulders. Yep. Yes, sir.
Just maybe a little extra help with some of us who may have similar challenges with that, and that is get on my knees over here. Think about the leading hand that's here is water, and the other hand that's coming down is yang. So you still have an and yang movement in the technique.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
That may help also.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
The founder, when we were doing this initially, way back when, this movement was called POM. POM, not like the drink POM, but POM is like an embracing, a hugging technique. So it's not really an active technique like the right hand is doing. So it's just, that's why it's passive and the right hand is active. So that may help with understanding the movements in the arms in that particular sequence.
Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
Woman young. Well, that's great. Anyone else?
Price Sebum.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I found it very helpful. I noticed something that I hadn't figured out before in your pole roll. You had a little bit of that nice rocking motion. It was very natural, like you would see at the end of Mu-Pal 7 and 8. And I found that a little bit of that rocking really, I don't know, somehow it sets up that feeling.
I agree. That's a great point, sir. I never thought of how that connected with the Mu-Pal Dankun, but now I see it. Totally.
It was great.
I'm going to steal that one.
Cruz Sabanim.
Yes,
Just
sir.
an observation, just something I utilize with this motion, particularly working in surgery. I could be standing for very long durations, 4 to 6 hours in one spot. The very first thing I do when I'm done and I back away from the surgical table is I do that exercise. And the reason is, instead of focusing on my tendon going in, I focus on my lower back, the lumbar opening. And that has a tendency to, open that, which invites the front to go back. So I found personally, I kind of reverse the thought pattern and think of the back opening, it always feels great. So the staff always doing his martial arts thing. Well, they liked it so much. They wanted me to teach it to them. So I started doing it with them every morning with the Mu-Pal Dankun. And they went, oh, this kind of works.
It's addictive. It's addictive. It's great, sir. it's kind of like, telling students to go faster with the chamber hand to help with your punch. Focus on the thing that you don't see. Kind of like you mentioned with your lower back, sir. That's a great point. So,
Greenberg Sebum, you have a question? You're on mute though, sir.
Thank you, sir. Just two things, not a way to do things, but food for thought. In relation to what we were doing, Paul says the perfect place to display this little thing that I've learned that may be useful to you, everyone. So we have Shinchuk. Let's, for this moment, call that the gathering of energy and the expelling of energy, or the emitting of energy. So it's easy, or it's common for us to understand gathering in the usual terms, such as hadamagi, and then gathering the energy and emitting. In the case of Paul, say we can see where there probably be many places where we're waiting to gather the energy rather than gathering the energy as part of our movement to the intermediate position or whatever position we're going to. So if I'm here and Paul say, okay. And I step and then gather the energy, I've kind of been insufficient in my movement. So if I just think about this, we're here in this position, we turn as we step, pardon my stance, I have an old stance. We only touch the toe. Only touch the toe. And as the weight shifts, pardon me, as the weight shifts, we will open, the hoodie will turn, and the heel will come down. So we would be here, and then our preparation for the next motion. So it's a harmony of movement, so that our expression of the gathering of energy is the same in this kind of a motion as it is in an easy to see smaller motion. It's many places, simple as Jim B. We're here, so as I contract, I lift, touch, and settle, or rather than, so maybe not a large thing, but something to think about. And in relation to that, the shifting of weight could be a mental image of a weight coming up, if we're in this position, coming up the leg and transferring forward into the front leg, as if we had a real weight and we pulled it up the leg here and then transferred it in. So this is transferring, but the weight has to transfer it. It's not going to go up and down, but it's going to imagine that it's coming, that we're pushing and then going down. So just those two things came to mind from the great presentation that we had today. Kamsahamnida.
thank you, Bomnem. That's great. We're just managers, right? Of the Shinchuk managers. We just gotta make sure we direct it where it needs to be. So that's a great point. And for me, sir, what you mentioned about connecting the opening of everything, I think for me is kind of I think about that stillness and motion. So you're kind of creating that very, very carefully, but it's very there's harmony in that movement, like you said. So thank you. Okay. Does anyone else have any thoughts, or too much? Just gonna go and have to marinate a little bit.
Think we're good.
Well, good. Well, this is our dojang here in Vieira. We rent space from a physical therapy space. They're very kind to us to let us come in and kind of, they even let us change the thermostat. So that's nice, especially in Florida. But we're on the east coast of Florida, right by the Kennedy Space Center. And if there was a launch, we would see it right now out the window. So you guys, if you're ever down in Disney, that's an hour from us. Please do get in touch. We'd love to have you. And with that, sir, I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but I appreciate you all joining in. This is something that I was asked to do, and it's really been an honor. So thank you all.
Thank you, Cruz Sabanem.
Thank you, Sabna.
Okay, we will bow out here.
Oh, this is Broyles Bus Sabonem. He's region 4 all the way. He's been voluntold to be here.
Go to Sabanem. Okay. Juliet? Cookie Beret? Roll. Munyam. Roll. Sabonimke. Kinye.
Thank you, everyone. Good to see you. Take care.
Thank
See you
you,
next
sir.
time.
Vashin Sabanem, it's good to see you.
Let's approach.
Thank you, sir. Having problems with my other camera, so that's why you see me popping in and out.
That's okay. Internet's always an issue for people, but thank you for joining in, and it's good to see you.
Thank you, sir. I'm lucky enough to cross over to the other side finally.
Well, you know what? If you have members like the Kwang Jinglim said, if they're DIME members that are 55 years and old that are having physical challenges,
Yes, sir.
to attend.
Yes, sir.
There's not a magic number. It's more doing best for the mature practitioner to enhance their training and further their training. So,
Yes, sir.
and the other misnomer is this program is for people once they hit 65, this is all they can do, which is not true at all. You can still train, you can still test, you do everything you want to do. This just helps you through those times of need and further enhance your training and set the example for future practitioners that are headed in that direction, which
Yes, sir.
does happen for everybody.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So it's better.
I stole some stuff from you too, so thank you.
Yes, Cruz Sabanem, thank you again. I got some great quotes I'm going to use from you that I wrote.
No.
Oh, yeah. I love this one. Keep your shinchuk alive.
Yep.
Find needed tension, erase unneeded tension where it's not needed.
No.
Good one.
Good one.
Very good. Lots of great information.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you
You
all.
too.
See you at
Thank you,
Nationals.
sir.
Yes, sir. See you
So
at
by
Nationals.
Monday, we should have this session back up on the, it'll be up hopefully by Monday or so on the Institute for review, edited, and we'll take out some of the little things and add our things to it. So all these classes are on the Institute. So if you ever want to check them out, review them, they're up there. It's free to everybody.
Thank you,
great.
sir.
Thank you,
Have a
sir.
good weekend.
Thank you
All
again.
right, everybody, stay well.
Sumo!